everyone, this is Jane here. I'm just here to do a little craft video, which is a kind of unexpected one really. I was having a bit of a clear out in my craft drawers because I wanted to move the other drawers over to this side of the room, so I thought rather than try and move them full up, I'll clear them out a little bit. So while I was doing that, I found a big cereal box that I've been keeping. Or that I've obviously put in there ages ago because they don't even make this cereal anymore. So I thought rather than just leave it there as, you know, in a cereal box form, I'll cut it up and get it ready to be made into a journal cover. So I thought I would come on and do that. So these are obviously, I usually make mini journals. This is a bigger one, and I may not completely use the whole thing because that will be a big journal. So I just trim off the edges, get rid of those so that we know what we're dealing with. Cool. So I'm just going to cut a little bit more off of there because I went a bit wonky up at the top and I just want to make sure that we've got a bit of a straighter edge. So that's all good. That is all going to go away because I won't be using those, I don't think. I'll pop that there. Right. So now we've got this, which is the cereal box. And it is going to be quite big in terms of size. So I don't think I want it to be this big. So I'm going to take a sheet of A4 paper so that we can actually see how big it is. I'll just use, let's got some A4 paper up here. Okay. So if we just get a piece of A4 paper and we fold it in half, let's see how that fits into this journal. So height-wise, probably lose a little bit more off of the top. Width-wise, we could definitely lose some off of there. So what I'm going to do, I don't often do measuring because it's just boring, isn't it? So I'm not one for faffing about too much if I don't have to. So let me just... The reason I don't measure is because I never have all the stuff ready to do these things with. So I don't have a pencil. But I've got a biro. I could use that. Let's just see if that's working. Yeah, it is. So... I think we could afford to lose something like that off of there. And I think we could afford to lose the same with this side. So I'm not sure if I'm actually on camera properly, but hopefully I am, fingers crossed. So you could just line it up with your craft mat and measure it on there. You definitely could. So what did I take off of here? I took off 1 inch. So I'm going to take off 1 inch from here because then we know we've got the same, round about the same on the other side. Let's get rid of that. So we'll cut those off and then I'll put this down the bottom. I am going to take off around about that much. top. So just kind of lining up. Just kind of doing it by eye. You can definitely measure, you can definitely line things up a lot better. Use your craft mat to line it all up. You can absolutely do that. But for the sake of video and the speed, I don't really want to spend too much time measuring and cutting up. Because that's not the interesting bit. Cut that down. Perfectamundos. Okay, that should be okay. Let's see. Fold it up. Yeah, that's a more kind of reasonable size. Definitely going to fit an A4 piece in there really easily. That's going to be really nice because you won't need to faff about changing the sizes for your page. You can just use A4 paper. All good. So whilst I was clearing up in my drawer, I actually found a load of strips that are hanging around that I've had for ages. And what I thought I would do is to get started with this cover, I would stick them on here, kind of make a collage effect. So that is what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to think about it too much. I'm just going to do it and stick it all down. What I will do though is I'll pop a bit of A4 paper underneath each side so we don't get glue all over the mat. I can't find my baking parchment that I normally put underneath here. So I think when I tidied up, I probably tidied it up and can't remember where I put it. So I'm going to just use glue stick for this for now. Glue stick is perfectly fine for doing strips and sticking them on. So absolutely fine. So let's put down one by one what we've got. I've got some quite long strips, so hopefully they will fit on here quite nicely. I'm going to overhang a little bit at the edge. So all good. Let's have a look and see. I'm going to really try not to think about it too much, because then it just gets, you know, you can spend too much time thinking about these things. Just lining it up and sticking it down. A bit more. Trying to keep the joins really stuck down well. They probably will come up a little bit because they always seem to. So what I'm probably going to do is to put down some I'll put some Mod Podge or something on. So quite a lot of the papers I've got here are a little bit boring. They're, well, not boring, but they're kind of a little bit samey. So I'm going to put something a little bit different. Try to use some different ones. I've actually got loads and loads of paper, but I kind of wanted to use up what was there. So it was taking up some space that I needed to use for other things. So I wanted to get rid of some of it. So some of this is going to be a little bit kind of like all coffee dyed and neutral. Some of it won't be. So that's okay. I can definitely live with that. That's that one. Right, so what I'm going to do over this part is to kind of use, what have I got here that I could use? That's quite cool. And that's about the right width. What else have I got? Just a pinky one. Let's use the pinky ones on the thing. The chances are we will probably cover up the spine anyway with something. Some lace or some material. But I'm just using some paper that's a little bit thicker so it goes over the crease. And I'm going to go over a little bit on this side as well, so that it folds down. The thing is, if it comes up, we can put some sari silk over it. It's all good stuff. We can just cover it up. So that one is going to go there. Okay, so that's all good. I'm going to cut a strip of this off. Actually, we'll save that bit. Trying to even it out with some just plain coffee dye, some with some colour. Not overthinking it too much, because you can definitely overthink these things way too much. And then it all gets a little bit contrived and doesn't give you the same kind of effect. So that is that one. So I always have loads of these strips hanging around. So merrily stuck everything down to the paper, but that's all right. That doesn't really matter. So hopefully this hasn't all gone off screen. That would be bad. Let's just see what we've got here that we could put down with that little bit of pinky stuff. I'm just going to cut a little bit off of it. I don't want to be too planned, but I kind of do want the strips to be round about the same size. So we'll put you down there. Wipe you off. Now, so that's that. What else have we got? I've got this that I could use. Let's cut that in half. So you can do these strips up, you know, sort of on horizontal, vertical. You can put them on a diagonal. I've definitely done master balls where I've done them on a diagonal, which has been really cool. So you can do anything like that, really. Let's just see what we've got here. What else have we got? That's a plain coffee dye one. We'll have that now. That is that one. Now we've got a pinky one we can put here. So let me see. Is it going to be worth cutting that in half? Not sure, actually. Oh, here we go. We'll use this. Right. This is a good sized bit. Okay, so that can go all the way down there. Let's cover my glue stick up. I think I'm done with that. We'll just put this down here. So now we've got all our strips all stuck down. So I'm just going to pop that to one side, 2 secs, while I just gather up the rest. That's the glue thing. Let's just gather up all the other bits and bobs I've got here, all the other strips. We'll use them for something else shortly. Quite sure what, but we'll put it all into the bag and we will use that for something else. Put that back into the bag. I'll just keep those little bits to one side. And that, and that. Not that. Not that. Not that. Right, okay. So that is all sorted. I'll put that back into the bag. We'll use that another time. So then all I'm going to do, you probably won't be able to see all this on camera, but I'm just going to cut off down to the edge. Okay, so that's done. Now, under normal circumstances, you can keep all these scraps and use them to make snippets with or anything like that, really. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep a few of the slightly bigger ones to make some snippets with, and I will do that later on today. But the really little bits and bobs, I'm going to throw away. Now, I wouldn't normally. I'd normally keep them all and use them all as little bits of snippets and stuff. But time is of the essence at the moment, and space is also of the essence, because I've had to kind of have a bit of a clear up, and I've got a big drawer full of paper scraps already, and I just don't need to add any more to it. So I'm going to not keep those for now. This is what we've ended up with. Okay, so we've got this really nice collage-y style. That could be your front, or that could be your front, whichever you choose to do. So what I would say is that when you come to actually make your journal up, this is going to need to be stuck down with something like a sari silk, which is fine. We have that stuff, so we can do that. What I am going to do with this is to just give it a little bit of extra stick. I'm going to cover it with some Mod Podge, just because it does help things to stick down. So I'm going to do that nice and quickly. Mod Podge is so easy to work with. It's literally, you can just literally slap it on. You don't need to be too careful with it. You can be a bit sort of slapdash. I would say when you're slapping and dashing, don't put it on too thickly, just because you really don't need to, and if you do put it on thickly, it can go a bit wrinkly, and it can take ages to dry, so you know, don't want it to do that. That's that. But that just helps to keep all these strips in place. Okay, so that's that side. Let me just turn it over so we can get this side. Hopefully we're all in the camera. That's that. So these edges here hopefully will be stuck down better now. The glue stick works great, but you just always get these little bits in between that aren't properly stuck down. So hopefully this will help to make that better. So you can see this is starting to lift, but hopefully as it dries that won't happen. The thing is with junk journaling that you can literally just cover stuff like that up. So if we've got a bubble anywhere, then you could really easily just cover that bubble up with either another bit of paper or a sticker or anything really to just cover it. You know, if you had like a spare circle like that, you could just cover that up with 3 circles, which is all good. You know, you can always cover things up. I know I've said this before, but you can literally make your mistakes go away, or things that happen that are not turning out the way that you want. Not necessarily even mistakes, are they? So that is what we've got now so far. Fingers crossed, so far so good. I will come back and do another video when that has dried, because I'm kind of getting an idea now that I might try putting some crackle paste down on there, but I need to do a test and see if the crackle paste will work if I've put Mod Podge on, because I don't know whether it will. So I will try and see. So what I'm going to do is, so I've got a bit of something that I can try it on. I'm just going to get one piece of paper, put this to one side to dry. I'm just going to put a little bit of Mod Podge on here so that I can try my texture paste on it once it's dry and see if it works. See if it works better with the Mod Podge or not Mod Podge. So thank you very much for watching. I'm just going to pop this over here to dry. Ooh, have to not let that curl up, Jane. There you go. And I'll pop this over on the other side so that Merlin doesn't step on it when he jumps on the table, which he no doubt will quite soon. So I'll leave that there. Thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, a like, a share, subscribe and all that good stuff. And hopefully I will be back to see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.